And play.
Oh, a lot of people on there.
Good morning, everybody. You are tuned to Computers 2K Now on the Nissan Communications Network. I'm Edmund, your host for the next couple of hours. Here with Spence.
Good morning.
Good morning. The others are not here yet. I thought next week is when we change the clocks. Seems like everybody's...
Maybe
No, whatever.
Maybe Skype didn't update because I was actually
I
watching
was
Skype
late.
when
I
the
was
link
late.
came in.
I know.
Possible.
Our number is
How do I-
919-518-9773. Computers 2K Voice on Skype. And today's show is made possible by vMix Software, Telestream's Wirecast software, and is sponsored by Tom Sinclair of Live Streaming Gear.
So what is the link for remote viewing mind control? If you want to listen to the show.
It's
in your
Mind
head.
Control Remote Viewing.
Yeah.
Dot
.com?
cloud.
Okay. So I screwed up this morning.
Uh-oh.
Rover, USS Rover. Hello, how you doing? But I was logging into the chat and I didn't type my name in, but I typed my greeting in. So now my name is my greeting. So I am mourning on chat.
Well, you can
That's
just...
I know. Close it and reopen
yeah.
it. But I'm going to do that. I'll be right back.
That's fine.
If it lets me. If it lets me do it.
You need to completely close the browser, all the windows of the browser.
Oh, then I'll be...
Because
close the Hangout.
otherwise it will remember you.
Oh, I'm going to go in with a different browser then.
Yeah.
I have so much computing power. I can do that. My old machine would have brought it to its knees.
So Wednesday I was on Tom's show.
Oh, how did it go?
Streaming Idiots. And it went great. And we had a lot of fun. And apparently there are still things that I'm doing wrong with vMix that I need to correct. I mean, it works and does everything, but he says, I'm not on you. You need to do it in a different way. You need to give me a call and we'll get it done. So, I don't know. We're going to see. I'm always open to better ways of doing something. But let's see what we have here as far as news this week.
There's no news.
Oh, yeah, there's a bunch of news.
None.
Did you hear that
Nothing.
Amazon stock jumped 13.5%?
He made something like $5 to $6 billion.
He
in
actually, they said
day.
after the company turned in another incredible earning report, more than $250,000 in profit for 3 months. Now, Bezos owned nearly 80 million shares in Amazon as of August. According to the most recent available data from FactSet, he made more than $10 billion from the one-day stock surge and is now worth
Wow.
well over $90 billion at the end of the trading on Thursday. Gates occupied the top spot in the Bloomberg Billionaires Index with a net worth of $88 billion. Now Bezos Bezos had 83.5. But now he is way more than he's the top, the richest man in the world. Bezos. You know,
Too bad that he has to be. He doesn't do a lot of. Well, I shouldn't say he does it personally. Inject a lot of politics.
No,
but he does own the Washington. He does own the Washington Post. So.
He does?
Yeah, he does.
Oh, I didn't know that. Huh?
Yeah, he does. So. But
yeah,
he has his own ideas. He has his own ideas on artificial intelligence, and he has his own idea on who should have what when, and he's got a lot of money. So.
Yeah,
but he sure makes it easy to shop.
And the thing is, you don't hear his name out there in controversies, and he keeps quiet and does his work, it seems like.
Well, once in a while he steps in it, but not like some other people do.
Yeah,
some other wealthy people do.
An interesting feller. Now, are you getting an iPhone 10?
X
10.
I have it right here. No, I'm not.
Oh, they sent you one, huh?
Yeah, it sent me one for free to test.
Yeah.
Right. Although, yeah, I was reading about how they scaled back on production, but yet the internal thought about it is that, it's a great success. Well, maybe because they didn't expect $1,000 phone to sell well.
Well, listen to this. We already know the iPhone X is expensive. It starts at $999 for the 64 gig variant. But what about the cost of a screen replacement?
Oh, yes.
If you don't have the extended warranty, a screen replacement will cost you $279, which is more than twice the price of an iPhone 6 screen replacement at $129.
Yep.
And about 60.
That's fine. That's done by Apple.
By
that's an Apple replacement.
Well, yeah.
Yeah. Not a third party.
Well, we don't know yet about third party doing it yet.
It's really hard to get anything third party.
Yeah.
With Apple.
It's about 65% higher than a new iPhone 8 screen, which is $169. Now, Mac Rumors reports in the United States, Apple will charge flat rate of $279 for iPhone X screen repairs and $549 for any other damage to the device.
Wow.
Unless it's a manufacturing defect covered by Apple's standard 1-year limited warranty. So if you have it a year and a half and anything else happens to it, flat rate of $549.
That's pretty amazing.
Amazing. It's ridiculous. Ridiculous.
Well, so far, the word that from people who have bought it is that.
Well, no, who bought it?
It's available. It just shipped, right?
I don't know. I didn't think it was still it was available yet.
Oh, I thought it shipped.
I don't know.
Well, maybe I'm thinking of the 8 just shipped.
Yeah, probably. I think they said that this is coming.
Well,
next year.
I'm happy with my 7. So
now you have a 7.
I have a 7. I had a 5S before that and started to get.
Did you try the 1 plus 2 plus 3? No.
The what?
If you've upgraded your iPhone operating system to iOS 11, did you?
I did.
Okay. Try this. Go to the calculator app and quickly type 1 plus 2 plus 3. You likely won't get 6. You might get 23, 24, 16, 32, or something else, depending on what buttons you tap and in what order. And obviously, none of which is the right answer. It seems to be because of a new animation in the calculator app, where a button briefly fades to white when you press it. The result is that if you press an operator button, i.e. the plus sign, before the short animation finishes, the app ignores it. So 1 plus 2 plus 3 accidentally gets read as 1 plus 23.
Interesting.
Isn't that,
why don't they,
isn't that special? They put animation in a calculator.
Why don't they just add autocorrect?
I can't believe it.
Put numbers there. No, that number's wrong. Let's change it to this number.
Animation in a calculator. And I guess the people that were testing it are not very good at math or at typing. So they were going 1 plus 2 plus 3. And that may give you the right answer. But if you go 1 plus 2 plus 3, and Katie tried it last night and said, it didn't work.
I don't type that fast.
Well,
and I tend to type when I thumb type with my phone. It's better with a bigger screen, but for some reason when I try to go down to touch the space bar, I always hit the N. So I'm constantly putting strings of characters together. It's like 3 words separated by N. So
that's if you do it
to slow down. I just go too fast.
Yeah.
I'm trying to use more dictation, and that's always interesting. You have to go back and read what you've dictated to the phone because you've got to really be careful.
So Tish is saying that the October 27 was a pre-order.
For the test.
And you can get it in the stores November 3rd.
Yep. Well, let's go down. You want to go down to Best Buy today?
Yeah, of course. I want to get about 3 or 4 of them.
Yep.
Because I would like to take it to my bank and tell them to do the calculation of my bank account.
Yeah. Yes, sir. Well, you have $200. No, you have $200,000. Yeah.
Turning a calculator into a toy. I'm sure they'll fix it, but
actually,
it's funny.
As far as iOS 11 goes, there's a few things about it that I haven't run into anything that makes me go, oh, wow, that's great. It's tweaks. Now, there are people that are diehard users that say, oh, this particular chat function is so much better than it was. I don't really notice that because I've never been a deep user of certain functions. I'm always amazed when I find out it does something that I didn't know. But that's just because I'm lazy. I use it for what I use it for, and I'm not exploring it for new things. But
I mean, it's with all its problems, the iPhone is still. I mean, the people that have it still love it.
I came from. I've used Android on a limited basis, and I've gotten to the point where I get a lot of people who ask me, "Oh, can you help me with this app or help me with this problem with Android?" So I've had to sit down and learn. And what's difficult about Android, from my perspective, is not for most people probably don't care, is the difference between the different versions that are out there. Each manufacturer can tweak their version of Android for their particular platform. What was that term you used to have for apps not rolling over well between releases? There was a term for it. Somebody's going to say it in chat, I know for sure. But there was a term for when, say you have an app you put out for iOS 5, and then when 6 comes out, you've got a problem because you have to update it to fit. So I've got several apps that don't work in 11.
Right.
Yet. One in particular works, but I'm not happy with some changes that Apple made in their iOS, where they're no longer allowing network scanning apps to scan for MAC addresses. So
you cannot find your phone in your router?
No, I mean, I can go out and look at IP addresses. I have a scanner that goes out and scans a network. If I'm looking for a device in the network, I want to see an IP address for the LAN that I'm on. It comes in handy not just at home, but when I'm out working if I'm doing anything LAN related. You just put in the IP address and scan. It shows me all the active IP addresses. And usually it'll pick up a name, device name, if it's there. So I can tell. I could identifying printers and identifying routers and
yeah,
so
but
on.
it
So
always did it with the MAC address. It'll show you the MAC address.
it doesn't. That's the problem. So if you're trying to now, you typically a router, if you've got DHCP addresses, you want to set a permanent DHCP, one that doesn't expire.
Yeah.
Or you want to set a hard coded
static.
angry IP. Yeah, I need to take a look. USS Rover. But the problem is that it's a issue with the iOS not allowing the scanning to happen anymore, not the app. So I'll take a look. But the if you want to put in a fixed IP address, you want to make sure you don't have that in DHCP. It's just utilities like that work nice. In a router, if you're setting up reservations, permanent reservations. Oh, Angry IP is a Windows program. Okay.
Oh. Angry one.
Yeah. My
What
IP is angry today.
Yeah, does the IP go, don't touch me, don't touch me?
That's right.
Yep.
I'm not giving up this address. Are you crazy?
919-518-9773. Computers 2K voice on Skype. Call us, guys. It's just the two of us here this morning. I don't know what's going on. Mike said that they have a house full of guests and he may be in later, but I don't know what happened to Steve and Jorvik, and Gene is saying he just tried 1 plus 2 plus 3. You got 117, 120. Yep. So don't do your calculations on the iPhone. Not a good thing.
Oh,
Right.
the term was fragmentation, where you would have different versions of iOS have to come out, not just for apps, but for different devices. You might have version 5 of something come out, and you have version 5 for this device, version 5 for this device. And it gets to the point where if you're an app manufacturer, it creates a problem because you have to have a specialized version for each different device. Whereas with Apple, they only have so many devices.
Yeah.
So in the Android world, you've got everybody who can make a device makes a device, and they have their own custom version of the iOS that works with that device. So it's called fragmentation. Took me a minute to remember.
Fragmentation.
So
you can defrag it.
That's right. Just run the defrag program, no problem. That'll fix you right up.
Now you do a lot of texting. You don't do it while you drive.
I do what?
You don't do
of course
texting.
I do. You drive with your knees.
No, you
What's
don't.
wrong with you?
You don't do it while you walk, do you?
I don't.
Well, the Hawaiian city of Honolulu has resorted to fining people up to $99 for staring at devices to try and force people to look up from their phones while crossing the road. The new law gives police the power to fine people up to $35 for the first offense, $75 for the second, and $99 thereafter. Perhaps expecting it to take quite some effort to get people to take notice. I mean, how many times do you see people walking and their face is buried in the phone? It's, I mean,
it's been a problem in some cities, and that's why they're coming out with these laws. But there's a physical problem to it too, and it's not just when you're walking, but just they call it phone neck, where you're always looking down like this, and it's creating posture issues. Plus, it's rewiring your brain. So
it does.
But the way you cognitively, there's something about being in front of the screen all the time that's not good. And our generation feels it to some extent because we got started a little later, or we grew up with a different set of visual cues. We had even then we had television. Well, even a generation before me had television, but I grew up with television as a normal thing. Everybody had one, pretty much. Generation before me didn't have that.
The thing is, it's also turning them into antisocial people in some way.
Oh, absolutely. Oh, big time. I read a study. This woman did a study about it, saying that you look at I think I mentioned this before, 2007, when these devices really became pervasive, you just saw a giant spike in, I won't call it antisocial behavior, but detachment behavior, where you would sit instead of being on the phone with your friends, you'd sit in your room in the dark and just text your friends. You didn't have interaction.
Never mind. You may be sitting in a room with your friends and texting them. I know they're making a lot of jokes about it, but it's true. I mean, you sit in a room and the young people, or some of them, their face is just buried in their phone.
I noticed our excuse me, our television in our bedroom, after I don't know how many years, finally croaked.
Yeah.
And so usually the only morning that I ever have a chance to sit there is usually Saturday mornings, because it's the only morning I don't have to get up.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll turn the TV on. But now I find I wake up on Saturday morning, and what do? I look at my phone, check news stories, look at email. It's like, no, I don't want to do this. I want to go out and sit on the porch and drink coffee. I don't want to,
Mm-hmm.
So it's tempting. It's so easy.
Yeah, I never got into that. I mean, I get up in the morning, I go in the office and I check email on the computer, and then I go back in the living room and sit down with Kathy and drink coffee and eat something. And, I mean,
yep.
I really don't touch the phone unless I go out, because everything is on the computer too.
You know what I've been doing lately, though? I've been leaving my phone. Thank God I haven't left it anywhere, like outside the house or outside my car. But I'll be sitting there at night, getting ready to think about going to bed, and I'm looking around. Where's my phone? It's still in the car. I left it in the car when I got home from work. It's like, that was 4 hours ago. So there are times when I am just detached from the phone, and it's inconvenient, but I don't mind that. I'm glad that I'm not that wired to it.
It's really a good feeling to know that I'm independent from it. You don't control me. And some people like Nick and others saying, "Oh, you don't use your phone." Yeah, I don't. I mean, even texting, I do through the computer. I don't pick up the phone to do it with.
But you do have a way now of getting notified if somebody does text you. I know you don't respond to text, but at least if I text you something, you get a pop-up on your computer, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's if I turn the thing on, which sometimes I forget. But because people know that I don't respond to text, they don't text me. They know they can call me. I always answer the phone. So I'm still on the old-fashioned way. Talk to me.
Can we talk?
Can we talk? I give you something to talk about. All right, so listen to this one. A computer at the center of a lawsuit digging into Russian interference in the U.S. presidential election has been wiped. The server in question is based in Georgia.
With a cloth?
Huh?
Wiped with a cloth?
It's based in Georgia, a state that narrowly backed Donald Trump giving him 16 electoral votes and stored the results of the state's vote management system. The deletion of its file system data makes analysis of whether the system was compromised is impossible to ascertain. And they said there is a good reason to believe that the computer may have been tampered with. It is 15 years old and could be harboring all sorts of exploitable software and hardware vulnerabilities. No hard copies of the votes are kept, making the electronic copy as in one copy, the only official record. While investigating the Kennesaw State University Center for Election Systems, which oversees Georgia's voting system last year, security researcher Logan Lamb found its system was misconfigured, exposing the state's entire voter registration records, multiple PDFs with instructions and passwords for election workers, and the software system used to tally vote cast. Despite him letting the election center know of his finding, the security holes were left unpatched for 7 months. He later went public after the U.S. Security Services announced there had been a determined effort by the Russian government to sway the presidential elections, including looking at compromising electronic voting machines. So here is Georgia, computer that's 15 years old, with that exposing everything else to the public, and they're digging into it to see now why it was wiped. And they were talking about narrowly backed Donald Trump giving him 16 electoral votes, Georgia. Maybe because of all that, he was narrowly. Maybe if everything was working correctly, he would have gotten 50. I don't know. You can't always look at it and say, oh, because of that, he got more. No, because of that, he couldn't have gotten less.
I remember when the stories first started to emerge about electronic voting machines.
Yeah.
That the defense was always, well, even if the OS can be compromised, they were not internet connected. So you had to actually physically go up to the device and connect to it, excuse me, using a thumb drive or something. And then it came out to say that, no, they do actually use networking to an extent to upgrade them, to upgrade the OS. Mm-hmm. So there is, depending on the circumstance, it is not visible supposedly on the internet, so it can't be hacked in that way. So it has to be a human there trying to exploit it. So,
I know. I mean, there's really, in my opinion, there's really no reason for these machines, voting machines, to be connected to the internet the whole day. For what?
Well, they need to be.
What?
I don't know. I'm thinking I go back and forth between saying there should be a national standard, because if any time you get the government involved in developing, there was a conference recently where they had a bunch of university people and researchers try to come up with a plan to come up with a universal operating system and hardware that could be standardized and used throughout the country that could be monitored.
Yeah.
But the problem with that is, and like everything else we know, is that what if somebody builds a back door? And, so this is the kind of thing that we need to look at it, from a transparent point of view. You cannot have this done. The problem with voting machines today is that people don't open it up because they say, well, this is a trade secret. We can't show you that we're actually running this on, what was the weird Microsoft mobile operating system that was out years ago. What was it called? It ran on HP handheld devices, whatever it was.
Yeah.
But I mean, you find out that some of them were running on these old mobile device platforms that were ridiculous. It's like, you got to be kidding me. This is 10 or 12 years old, long abandoned, no longer supported. All we have a proprietary special version of it, hardened version or embedded version. It's like, so what? It's just
I mean, I don't look at it that deep. I mean, just from
Windows CE. Thank you.
Yeah, Windows CE. That's right. But I look at it from a different angle. There is, in my opinion, there's no reason for these machines to be connected to the internet. The people may come in the morning, the people that man the spot where the voting is taking place, of course, they're testing these machines throughout, probably for weeks before. They turn it on. It's not connected to the internet. It collects all the votes. It does its work. It takes the votes and put them where they're supposed to be. When they close the precinct, they run a program that goes and tallies and takes everything and creates a file that then is emailed or uploaded. Uploaded is better than emailed to their next hop, so to speak. And this way, if somebody wants to tamper with it, first of all, they would have to intercept that file and tamper with it, which everything is going to have to be done at the same time. You can't do it.
In some ways, the old-fashioned mechanical voting machine was actually more secure.
It was.
So, but John brings up a good point. I was about to say this, that the system we have in Wake County, and I don't know if it's county by county in North Carolina or it's statewide, but we have the paper ballot that you mark with a pen marker to say you choose, and then they run it through a scanner, and then that's how the votes are tabulated in the scanner, and then they upload those results at the end of the day in a secure file. And that seems to me to be a good compromise between a physical ballot, and because as soon as you start to get into touch screens, we've heard about problems with touch screens. I selected this and it kept changing it back, or you might have a problem with the ballot not looking correct, or it just seems that having something on paper that can be published in advance that people can look at. And sometimes I go in, I have a sheet with me because there's so many names on there for positions I'm not familiar with. I do research in advance, and I say, in this particular race, judgeships and things like that. I have a candidate. I don't remember all their names, but I take it with me, and then because I've looked at the ballot and I've said, well, let me look at each of these names. Let me research this, and it's interesting.
So was there ever a question about the system that we're using in Wake County?
I don't think so.
John?
It may have been some issues about results coming in late.
Well,
because of technology issues. But I don't know of anything, although they were talking about some cases of I think it was North Carolina, had some cases of voter fraud, but I don't know how they did it. That's why I'm thinking that each county is different.
It's when people vote 2, 3, 4, 5 times.
Well, yeah, that could be it too. Moving people to different precincts, and this whole concept of provisional voting. That I just moved here, so I can do a provisional vote. These are things that, if you look at the Constitution and the way it talks about voting, and early voting is like it's not in the Constitution. I'm sorry, it's not there. It's you shall vote on this day, and that's how it happens. We're kind of traditional, even though I do early voting, still kind of a traditionalist when it comes to how it's done. And accommodations can be made for people who can't get there. That's why they have absentee ballots. But early voting is this thing where, yes, something could change. You might vote 3 weeks before the actual election, and then something happens that would change your vote. So it's like, and registration on the day of your voting, I think that shouldn't. I don't agree with that either. I might be old fashioned, but
Alfredo, you don't really need to have my okay if you're trying to call into Computers 2K now. You can just.
What? You make me pay? What are you talking about? I have to pay.
You're special.
Wow. You're giving it away for free?
You're special.
That's true.
But yeah, I mean, it's the whole thing with those machines. There can be a secure way, a better way, a safe way, whatever. But there's just too many cooks in the kitchen, I think.
Yep.
But
the other thing that was just one last thing about voting was that there were people that were actually putting out there about internet voting and using some type of biometric identification.
Yeah, well, there you go. But how do you collect it to begin with?
How do you set it up in the beginning? How do you put it out? Think about people crying about access. If everybody will have to have a computer at a certain level, you'll have to have some type of a scanning device. Think about it.
Yeah.
Or they'll say, well, we'll use a camera to do a retinal scan or something like that. So you just imagine rolling that out. So yeah, I know. Mike.
What?
Hello, Mike.
Hello.
Hey, Mike.
Hello.
So when you turned the air conditioner on, did your house go dark?
Don't think so. Why?
No, I thought I didn't know about that circuit we put it on there. So.
Oh, I'll tell you this: the air coming out of it, it's a heater air conditioner. It's not very warm.
No, well, I made sure it was when I tested it. I know it was hot coming out, warm.
Well, I may be operating it wrong. I haven't read the manual yet, but
it may not produce that much heat.
Is it
it'll certainly take the chill off that room.
Is it like a heat pump or is it just a regular heater?
I don't know what it is, to be honest.
Yeah, I don't know if it's got elements in it. I don't know.
Huh.
It's small that I would think that it probably has elements in it.
I don't know. But I have to look. I haven't even watched. But you're saying the air coming out of it was hot. For what
no, I checked it. I ran it warm and I ran it cool just to make sure that it worked.
Yeah. Spencer installed a window unit for us in a little utility room, sort of a add-on room, and we'll have to see how it goes. But you were talking about the elections and the voting machines.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The machines, I mean, obviously there was no hacking of this election. The hacking that these, I'm trying to be nice.
Just say
these delirious people are asserting against our president. Their hacking is whenever, as their conspiracy theories dwindle. Now the latest is they hacked into the DNC emails when all it really was John Podesta set his password with all lowercase to his Google Gmail account, and that's where all this information from WikiLeaks came from. And this is the Russian hacking. And the guy who figured out his password was not Russian; it was actually an insider at the Democratic Party.
They will alternately use Julian Assange as a scapegoat or as a genius, depending on the circumstances.
Yeah. I'll tell you guys, I've done a lot of reading lately, and there's some really disturbing things going on out there. If you think and this is not a partisan comment, but if you are concerned, as you should be, about the state of what's going on in this country, you better educate yourself, because nice people who think everything is going well and life is good really need to do some homework and figure out what's going on while you're not looking. It's kind of like having, I guess, what is it? No, for pancreatic cancer. You don't know it till it kills you.
I don't know. I'm still saying there are ways to make things, especially with the technology today. There are ways to prevent people from logging. You know what? You were talking about biometric. You don't need to collect people's markings before the election. It can be done right there and then.
We can do an internal chip with all the registration numbers start with 666. Who is it? What do you call it? The ACLU was going to say no, you can't. The NAACP is going to say no. This is going to suppress voters from going to vote. Nah. I can tell you how we can get voter ID. It's not very hard.
Okay.
All we need to do is let our side start cheating, and the other side will start screaming bloody murder.
Yeah. Who's echoing?
That's Amnon.
Amnon, stop echoing.
He's deaf. He turns the speaker up so loud they can hear it next door.
It's not. I'm with this.
Well, somebody's got their speaker turned up, and it's not me.
No, I'm using my earbuds.
So are you still hear the echo?
No, I'm not hearing it right now.
Interesting. Yeah.
But it was clearly acoustical echo. It was not electronic echo. So anyway, just so that while we're talking about it, I wish I were here earlier, but I've got guests. I probably won't be able to stay very long. But the governor's race in North Carolina, where Durham came in at the last minute with the votes that completely turned the election around. There was nothing that, I mean, as much as I would like to say that there was cheating going on over there, it was not.
Well, I mean,
Totally.
it's the point here what we're discussing is that that machine in Georgia, 15 years old, and it was proven before the election even that it was displaying to the public information it wasn't supposed to be displaying. It had no backup, and it got wiped somehow. Could be from somebody remotely, could be somebody in the office. The point here is that it's
Amnon, when you're using Windows Bob,
yeah.
it has a built-in reformatting feature, random reformatting feature. That's
I guess I missed the story, and if it was short, repeat it to me. If not, we'll move on.
They're
to
saying
else.
that a computer that was used in Georgia, a state that narrowly backed Donald Trump, giving 16 electoral votes, and stored the results of the state vote management system, was wiped out. And there's no record, so they cannot prove anything. It was completely wiped.
But this is just for one county, right? Or one,
probably last
wasn't for
week.
the whole state.
I don't know. Late.
You said Kennesaw.
Yeah.
So what was the elect? I'll look it up, but I mean, again, what we need to do is to make it a felony to allow this to happen, and you'll probably see some of that go down.
I mean, you have such a central computer that does so much, that does things, and you don't have a backup? I mean...
Well, we already talked about a simple, cheap way to solve this problem. All you have to do is every time someone votes, print out like a log. Remember how we used to have dot matrix printers printing logs of things that happen? Every time someone votes, so one vote X, one vote X, one vote X, ballot number 104, 105, 106. And then you've got a hard copy right then and right there.
Yeah.
And that would cost nothing.
They said no hard copies of the votes are kept, making the electronic copy the only official record.
That's why I like Wake County. Mike, are we by county choosing a system, or is it a statewide system with the...
As far as I know, it's by county. Well, it depends on the statewide. Well, that's a good question. I don't know the answer to it.
I know that we mentioned before that we have paper ballots that get scanned. So now we have both the paper ballots as a backup, and we have the scanned results, which is what gets sent into the state.
But even then, again, technology, this is 2017. I'll blame our side on this. If they really wanted accurate ballots, and I know they don't want to spend the money on new machines because they're dramatically overpriced and all that. I get that. But if they really wanted to solve the problem, there would be a screen in there that says, okay, here's how you voted. Is this correct? And that would show that the scan was correct. How do you know the scan is correct?
That's true.
And as far as tampering with the old mechanical voting machines, the good news is that when somebody tampers with them, that tampering can be detected anytime after the fact.
Yeah,
sure.
As long as the people doing the detecting aren't the ones doing the tampering.
Well, as John was saying earlier, that tampering, election fraud isn't really related to the machine. It's related to people voting twice. It's related to people going to different precincts and voting more than once. Dead people voting. You know, they look at some of these counties where more people than live in the county voted. How can that be? You know,
well, actually, there theoretically is a way to do that with the new people moved in and so forth. I mean, mathematically, it's possible. But when have you ever had more than 100% turnout at an election? That's the question.
Right. Yes.
So
that's unheard of, unless you're in Iraq and voting for Saddam Hussein.
Or in Pennsylvania voting for Obama.
Yep.
Where they had several precincts that 100% of the votes went to Obama. I mean, just the sheer law of averages would say that somebody would mark the wrong ballot.
Well, could be.
But if they had this system of the screen that spit out your results as soon as you scanned your ballot. I mean, even you could do a touch screen, which I've done before. You could do a touch screen so long as you saw some validation as to what was being recorded and there were some sort of a logging trail. And that would be fine. And the good news is as soon as at 7:31 you hit results, boom, there it is. And it immediately phones home and it prints out the result on this dot matrix printer. I don't know why we're not more aggressive about these things.
We should let Apple develop a autocorrect system for voting. Right? They just say, well, you really...
Yeah, I trust Apple. I trust Google. I trust Amazon. I trust the Washington Post. I trust CNN, the Counterfeit News Network. Yeah, I trust them. Let's let them handle it.
We can tell what people really want, so we'll vote for you.
Yeah, I mean, even if they some of these people probably picked the wrong person, so we need to fix that.
Yep.
Right.
Why not? Mike, did you look at cameras?
I actually bought one, and I have a...
Oh, yeah.
Change the subject. I'll be back in a minute. I got to run in the other room for just a second, pick up something.
Right.
But let's come back to that because I actually have a question about that. I'm glad you brought it up.
All right. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Speaking of cameras... Oh, good. Can I...
No, we'll talk about cameras when Mike comes back.
Okay.
But here's U.S.-based cyber firm McAfee said it will no longer permit foreign governments to scrutinize the source code of its products, halting a practice some security experts have warned could be leveraged by nation states to carry out cyber attacks. Apparently, if you want to be able to sell something in another state or somewhere in another country, they have to look at it to see that it's okay. So McAfee says, no, we're not going to do that anymore. Reuters reported in June that McAfee was among several Western technology companies that had acceded in recent years to greater demands by Moscow for access to source code. The instructions that control basic operations of computer equipment, the reviews conducted in secure facilities known as clean rooms by Russian companies with expertise in technology testing, are required by Russian defense agencies for the stated purpose of ensuring no hidden backdoors exist in foreign-made software. So they know exactly how the software works. and they know how to go around it. And besides, I thought that we're not supposed to give computer technology secrets like that to other countries.
Well, there are countries on a list that we're not supposed to give.
So
But they
Russia
can
is
buy
not
from
on it
they can
anymore?
Buy it from a third party that gets it. They can
Well,
get it.
I'm proud of them. I mean, this is the way to do it. Hey, you are writing and producing a program that's supposed to protect me, the consumer, then I want you to keep it under wraps. I don't want people to know what. From day one, when I got into communications, when I was running the bulletin board, the BBS, I did not like the fact that the source code for the BBS was available to anybody. It wasn't an exe file that you run that you can't get into and see what's going on. It was actually the source code, and you were running it, and anybody can open it, can download it and look and see, oh, okay, here's a vulnerability, here's a vulnerability, we can do this, we can do that.
There was actually a suggestion by that group that was studying electronic voting. They actually said we need to have an open source program that does this so everybody can see what it does, and we know when there's an exploit.
Okay, so that's fine, but you need to do that a year before you're using it. You don't let people know what it does 2 weeks before.
Right.
So, anyway.
No, well.
So, Mike? I thought I saw Mike back.
I am.
Oh. Okay.
I bought this camera we were talking about, the D-Link. Let me see which one it is here. Hang on just a second. The D-Link high definition Wi-Fi camera. I don't know what the model number is. Sage by Hughes, security and home automation.
Yeah.
Here's the camera.
Right.
There's no instructions with it.
Did you open an open box?
Here's the instruction manual.
Yeah.
It doesn't tell you how to hook it up. It says in here, in fact, all this is the safety crap that nobody ever reads. This is the opening. So, installation. Using your Sage remote, press home. I don't have a Sage remote.
Was it open?
Select settings. Select add devices. Select cameras. Select the indoor camera as the camera to be added. Follow the Sage Home Automation Hub on-screen prompts to pair and install the camera. That's the installation.
Was the box open?
No.
Did you go to their website to see what do they mean by remote? Is it actually?
Well, I think this is really an add-on for a Sage home alarm system or home monitoring system.
Sounds like,
as opposed to it being a standalone camera. The question is whether it can be used as a standalone camera.
Okay, here. Nick is saying that Sage Remote is an app. So you may need to go on your phone and download an app called Sage Remote.
What's the model number, Mike?
I'm looking. It looks like it's a DCS 2132L-ES. Should have given it to Nick yesterday. Let him figure it out. I ain't got time.
2132. I'm looking at it now back on Amazon again here.
Charles, I got my daughter an Echo Dot, and she loves it.
It's a fun little device. It's fun to play with that. I thought it was kind of quirky how to get it to connect to the Wi-Fi, but I got it to work.
So where are we with this?
Spence is going to figure it out.
Yep.
Okay.
We have to you have to get a knife and a screwdriver and pry it open, break it in half, and cut some wires inside, and it'll work.
You already did that.
Okay.
At least it's got a reset button.
So what you really need is the Amazon Cloud Cam.
Mike,
so that you can have packages delivered to your house.
Right.
Mike.
Yes, the new service they're offering.
Mike, USS Rover is asking if it has a Cat 5.
It does.
This is the one we were talking about last week, right?
Yes, this is the one we picked out last week and ordered, but apparently we didn't read it carefully enough.
Mm-hmm.
So the new Amazon service for delivering packages, you have to have a compatible smart lock that talks Zigbee wireless over to the. I don't know if you need a separate hub, Cloud Cam and compatible smart lock, but you'll sign up and they'll actually deliver packages to your house.
Yeah,
Open
we
the door
talked
and
about
put them
we
inside
talked
your
about
house.
that.
Ain't
But I
happening
mean,
here.
more details are coming out about what happens and how they do it, and people have been commenting now on it, and it's like,
Not happening here.
I would rather have have them install a metal box on the side of my house that they can get into,
and it'll be
and put
cheaper
stuff in
too.
there so I can get it. I don't want people in my house.
HOA wouldn't let me do that.
You have to put it in the ground then.
Mike,
HOA, the city won't let me do that.
USS Rover is saying connect it to the router and then scan the network for it.
No,
Well, I mean, I'm going to get into all that. I mean, Nick's going to figure it out.
So these things are typically pretty easy to set up.
Let's see.
Like,
We have.
when you
We
set
have
up
let's see who's calling now. Good morning.
Morning.
Who's this?
It's Alfredo.
Oh, hey.
Hey, great show.
Thanks. What's up?
Everyone like on the same call?
Yeah, we're all here.
Oh, okay. So just
You're on the air.
Oh, I am.
Yes.
Okay.
You are.
So the camera that you guys were talking about, it looks like an IP camera if it has a network plugged in it. Is that what you guys are trying to figure out, or?
Well, that's what we thought when we ordered it, but then it comes in with instructions that are limited to how to connect it to a Sage app or Sage system. I don't know what the Sage app or Sage system is.
What about those DIT switches that I noticed in the back?
Those aren't DIT switches.
Those aren't DIT switches?
Let me check
they were.
again, but I look at it. Looks to me
Note
like
that D-Link cameras, as well as most cameras, if they're IP-based, they have a web browser built in. And the D-Link camera that I have that you use the D-Link app to access also has a native interface that you can go to, and it's very sophisticated. You can do live browsing of the camera if you have the security credentials, as well as other things. So I'm sure there's got to be a simple way to get to the camera.
there is. It's the same way you set up an Amazon Echo.
Yeah.
You plug it into the wall, and then you use the app on your phone to set up the device.
Yeah.
It's the same. That's exactly how you set up an Amazon Echo.
Yeah. So the question is, will this do what I want it to do?
Yes, it'll do what you want it to
Okay.
do. Literally,
Perfect.
if you plug it into the wall right now
Mhm.
and download their app, it will connect to the app on the phone.
Well, don't you think it would be a good idea to put that in the instruction manual?
I'm just telling you, it's not,
It's
not
just-
that complicated.
Is this one of those reduced frustration factor packages? What Amazon sells when they have frustration-free packaging and regular boxing? Is this one of those frustration-free boxes?
I don't know. I don't get frustrated with boxes. I like boxes.
Well, I mean, you have a choice with some products when you buy it. You can get it
Shelter
basically
box.
in a brown box with nothing in it, or you can get it in the shrink wrap or the plastic blister pack or whatever.
So what that is an intelligent marketing campaign where somebody's returned the product without the box.
Yes. Yes. All right. Sage app. But it doesn't look like it's a D-Link app. It's just a Sage simplified. No, that's expense management.
Well,
But I vote for plugging into the network, scanning the network, trying to identify the device, and go into that IP and see if you can get in with the default password.
I'll bet you if you download, like Nick say, if you download the app, it'll find it.
Probably have to register for the app.
Oh, I don't know, but Nick will figure it out. He's got nothing else to do.
Nope.
Mike, there's a link in the chat from USS Server for you. Do you see it?
Okay. No, I'm not logged into chat. I will, though, in a second.
He said pass it to Mike. Alfredo.
Yes.
It's been a long time, man.
Yeah, I've been keeping busy with work.
That's good.
Slightly got a promotion, I guess. I'm what's considered now a Hertz reports developer. You know, the company Hertz. That's one of our clients at our company. And I'm helping out with developing reports for them and just slowly learning the ropes of that process. That's work. I don't know if you know this too, Adnan, but I do live stream for my church. I've been doing it for an entire year now.
Right.
And I'm really surprised I'm able to actually stream out at 1 megabit per second and at least get something out. But viewing it live, it's terrible. Replay, it's fine. But, you know, this is what the church can afford, and they didn't really invest in.
You do what you can.
Yep.
Absolutely.
But I enjoy watching your shows. It's one of those shows I aspire to be. But, of course, bandwidth, resources.
That's all right. Not everybody has high bandwidth, so it's okay. You're doing whatever you can.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
I've also followed Nick when I get the chance to see him, and I notice his room's rearranged a little.
Oh, the room has been moved halfway across the country.
Oh wow! I didn't know he relocated.
He moved to a new culture zone, and he's in shock.
That's shock is a bit of a shock's a bit of a
understatement.
That's right.
No.
Yes, he's down here now.
Yeah. So if I actually tried to join by video, I'd probably be blocky. So I thought maybe I should call in.
You cannot. No, you cannot join by video.
Oh, okay.
No.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
Where are you located, Alfredo?
Oh, I'm in California, in Southern California near LAX. Our church is actually involved in that deal with the LA Clippers building on in our area.
Oh,
so
cool.
There's an article about the church being relocated. It's still up in the air, but they said they wouldn't relocate an entire church in whatever surrounding neighborhood there is. But again, it's nothing set in stone, so we may still be relocated if the Clippers built their stadium where they want to build it. So.
Well, let's see. Sports or God, which comes first? Yeah. So how did you find out about this show?
Tish is one of the regular members that watch in the chat, and she shared it out. And I know Amnon, I think ran into him a couple times in Blab and also on the Tech Buzz before, and I just visited the show when I'm reminded. It's not hard to remember computers to know.com. So.
Or 2K Now.
Yeah, sorry. For computers. Yeah.
All right.
So
Alfredo, thanks for calling in, man.
No
thanks for
problem.
listening.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for listening early.
Sure.
Yep.
Okay.
Go sleep.
Okay.
Don't sleep. It's 7:18.
Okay.
Hey, Spence,
Yes.
are you ready for the specials?
Yes. But I want to mention that I found that the Sage home automation system from D-Link was discontinued.
Oh,
But it's not a big deal. They still use conventional ways. You just have to find it in the forum and how to set the camera
you
up.
mean discontinue?
The camera is a standalone camera.
Discontinue and not available, or just not supported anymore? Can you download
Call it the Sage home automation kit. Company decided to discontinue Sage, and you can actually use it with other home automation systems, but also as a standalone camera, you have to go in and use the D-Link management software to use the fancy, nice interface, or you can go in and use the web browser.
I just want to see the video.
Yep.
Plug it in. It'll work.
All right.
Plug it into the back of your television.
Okay.
All right. So let me get set up for specials here. Give me a moment. Uno momento, por favor.
No, come on. You don't have uno momento.
But I can't. I can't. Here we are. Now, how do I know, Amnon, that you formatted this properly so that the prices are reflective of what's really there? Did you use mind control to change my mind?
Yeah, of course.
As I was.
Is that a VIC 20? What is that?
This is produced by the same people that bring you online voting.
What is that computer? I can't read it. It's the.
Which one?
The one at the
there's
very top. Commodore.
Sinclair.
Oh, it is a VIC 20. Yeah.
X80.
Oh, I see it. It said.
Yeah. And there's a Commodore VIC 20, and there's a something I don't even know what it is. It's not IBM because the colors don't match up right. I can't tell what it is. There wasn't an explanation on where I found the pictures. I am dedicated to every week producing new photos that are not recycling the same old ones. So, okay. Computers 2K Now specials for October 29th, 2017. And we start off with laptops. I've got at Best Buy, we've got a Lenovo 15.6-inch laptop with an AMD A6 processor, $50 off for $229. We've got at Office Depot an HP Pavilion 15.6 i7 machine, $250 off the regular price for $549. And at Staples, we have a Dell Core i5 laptop, $110 off, $439.99. Lots of good deals on laptops out there. Desktops, not so much as far as every week it's different. Sometimes we have a lot of good desktops on sale. Other times it's like, are they even worth mentioning? If you're looking for a good entry-level machine, this is a Lenovo desktop, entry-level desktop with a Pentium quad-core, 4 gig of memory, 500 gig hard drive, basic machine. But Lenovo makes good stuff. For $239, that's $30 off the regular price. Office Depot has Lenovo Idea Center with an AMD A12, $399, which is $200 off the regular price. Staples has a Dell desktop PC with Intel Core i5 for $449, which is $130 off. Lots of desktops out there are way overpriced, and I think it's because they're just not building as many. Laptops are far more popular. So when we see a good price, it's good to point out. All right, tablets. Best Buy has an Insignia entry-level tablet with keyboard, 32 gig keyboard, a 32 gig tablet with keyboard for $119, which is $80 off. So depending on what you're doing with it, it's Windows. It's not a bad little machine. I don't know whether the 32 gig is a flash or it's probably not a hard drive. And whether it can be upgraded to a solid state drive or not, I don't know. Like I did with my Dell, which made it a screamer. Office Depot Office Max has the Lenovo Flex 15.6-inch two-in-one laptop, really tablet, for $529, $270 off. It's an i5. And sadly, Staples doesn't have any tablets today. Oh, well. I mean, I can look and find something on their webpage, but there's nothing on sale. Networking. Samsung Connect Home AC 1300 system for $279, which is $100 off. I didn't always look to Samsung as being the provider of Wi-Fi products. Office Depot, Office Max, nothing on sale. Staples has a D-Link HD Wi-Fi camera for $64.99, 5 off. Storage. Best Buy has a SanDisk 128 gig USB 3.0 micro drive for $29.99, $90 off. That's got $90 off? Really? That was very expensive when it first came out, way overpriced. But a handy little device. Office Depot has SanDisk 32 gig micro Ultra Plus SDHC memory card with adapter for $19.99. That's $16 off the regular price. And if you're looking for I messed up the price on that. I'm sorry. I see how I overlapped a little bit. Seagate 1 terabyte, 2.5-inch internal laptop drive for $49.99. That's $20 off the regular price. You can find it a little bit cheaper on Amazon, but for that particular drive, I think it might be $5 cheaper. Accessories. We've got a Microsoft wireless keyboard 850 for $24.99 at Best Buy, say $15. A Logitech Mk 235 wireless keyboard and mouse. This is what appears to be a cut-off picture. I looked at this and said, this can't be the size of this. But this is one of their entry-level keyboards. I actually have it on my desk. It works pretty well. For $14.99. And battery backup at Staples, a 650 VA for $54.99. That's $20 off the regular price. Monitors. Best Buy has an HP 20.7-inch LED monitor for $79.99, $20 off. Office Depot has a Samsung Amnon. This is for you. 32-inch monitor. 32-inch monitor for $199.99. You could probably buy a TV cheaper than that. But when they say it could be better resolution and designed as a monitor, not as a television. But that is $100 off. Staples has a 23.8-inch Acer monitor for $99.50 off. Printers and scanners. Best Buy has a Canon Pixma wireless all-in-one printer for $99, say $50. Epson Workforce Pro WF4730. Now, this is a really an office-based inkjet printer. It's got dual paper trays, which is handy for businesses. It's got automatic duplex printing for $129.99. It's actually a pretty good price, $70 off Office Depot. And Staples has a Canon image class laser printer, desktop laser printer, wireless with duplex for $79, $90 off the regular price. We also have at Best Buy, we've got the Ring new security system. And this is a pre-order. It says on the webpage, it's not actually available yet, but you can pre-order for $299. It comes with a base station, 2 keypads, 2 motion sensors, and I think 3 door sensors. And I don't know what the other one is there, the description. But Ring is a very strong up-and-coming company. They started with their visual doorbell and have been adding cameras and other security devices now. Very well thought of, good reputation. $299.99. Office Depot Office Max has all their TP-Link smart plugs and bulbs on sale. Save $5 to $10 across the board. And Staples has the TP-Link smart Wi-Fi switch for $34.99, $5 off. Probably same sale prices that you'll have at Office Depot, Office Max. And finally, product focus. This is a confusing product. I found this on the Staples website. Is the Logitech MK875, which I could not find on the Logitech website, but it's being sold at a couple of different retailers. The one that's on the website is the MK870, and it doesn't have a lot of good reviews. But if this is in fact a new model that solved, they had a chipset problem with Bluetooth in the original version of this. So this merits further investigation. But for $99 here, it's $30 off. This gives you the same functionality as that small mobile keyboard. Remember the one with the switchable Bluetooth? But this adds something else. Not only can you support 3 devices over Bluetooth, it supports cutting and pasting between those 3 devices using a app that runs on your PC. So multi-device, multi-OS friendly. This is interesting. So if you have your PC and you want to cut and paste between your PC and a mobile device, this is supposed to allow you to do that. So interesting device. If they have in fact solved the Bluetooth functionality, then I really like the feature set that this has. And Amnon, this is for you. This is the kovaks Robotic Winbot window cleaning robot. And I would imagine that if you have small windows in your house, this is useless. But if you have these big, if you look at some of the pictures they showed, the descriptions with a house made out of window walls, this might be good. I don't know about whether this is ready for prime time yet, but Amnon, you need to order one and test it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's pretty cool. I don't think it's going to be as popular as Roomba. Notice that the weird way the wire goes out the window, the outside. And what is the other thing? Is that a sensor, like a home? I guess it's like a home sensor where it'll come back to it and it just rolls around. What does it do to clean the window? Just
I don't know.
Just thought I'd mention it. It is emerging technology after all. So, and that's it for Computers 2K Now specials for October 28, 2007. 29. I'm sorry. I'm a day behind.
Thanks,
29,
Spence.
2017. You're welcome.
You always have those.
Yeah. Yeah, Rover says that's why you have kids get outside and wash the windows.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
That's never happened.
I did buy something. Are we on Home Improvement 2K now?
Sure.
I did buy something that, surprisingly enough, I don't know why I bought it, but it's turned out to be kind of a hit. But it's a stand for Keurig K-cups. If you got a Keurig coffee maker, it's a little pull-out drawer that goes beneath it. It's only $16, and it's very well made. It's all metal. It's very solid. The tray moves in and out very easily, and it's been very convenient.
Does it have facial recognition so that a drawer slides out and pops the cup up for the person?
Well, I'm not sure what the technology is, but if the wrong person is going in there, that tray will snap shut and take off a fingertip.
Oh, all right. That's good, because those cups are expensive.
Yeah, they are. In fact, that's interesting because a certain company I know bought a coffee maker, a pod-type coffee maker that's not Keurig, that it's made in Italy. I forget the name of it. But you know what the big selling, this really gets me, the selling point for this coffee maker to companies is, since consumers can't buy one of these, there's no reason for them to steal the pods.
I know is it Nespresso, the one that you're talking about?
Nope, it's a standard coffee maker, and now they have one. Yes, they do have one that's espresso, but it's made in Italy.
Nespresso. I think it's called Nespresso.
That's not the brand name.
Because those pods are like three and a quarter a piece for an Nespresso. You couldn't even afford to drink that coffee.
This is not that. But what does this world come to that you've got to do something like that to keep people from stealing?
Yeah.
So of course, then again, I guess that if you have companies that don't treat their employees well, I guess they open themselves up for any sort of a problem like that, don't they?
Alan in the chat is saying, is it Racimo or Tassimo?
Doesn't sound right. That Tassimo, that sounds right. I believe that's it. But I was going to look it up because I figured the reason our company bought one is because it was cheaper. The coffee is about the same as Keurig. So I said, well, what the heck? If it's going to be a lot cheaper, maybe I'll get one. Nope, can't buy them. We'll not sell them to homes.
Well, I mean, you can always just buy lousy coffee pods. Nobody would want them.
Yeah.
Or just buy a regular coffee maker.
Yeah.
No, it's just too complicated.
Regular coffee maker's too complicated?
Yeah.
Why?
I still use I reuse the pods
the special
for the
cups.
Keurig.
You brew it yourself.
Yep.
Make your own.
It's not special pods. It's the ones that
you put your own grounds in
the beginning. Yeah, and you just open them and you put your grounds, and you can buy the top from eBay, and it works great.
When our Keurig died, I actually got another one from somebody else, and I scavenged and made one work out of two. And then when that died, that was it.
Of which one?
Keurig.
Oh, they're junk.
Yeah, it was one of the earlier generations. It worked good for a couple of years.
Yeah,
they started doing weird things. And
I think it's planned obsolescence. I mean, I bought two at the same time, so I have one.
Yeah, and I got one from somebody who just didn't want to deal with it anymore, and I scavenged a couple of parts out of it and got it to continue working. But
how did you open up the bottom of it?
Oh, it opens up, but you have to, I think it's secure Torx.
It's secure something.
Yeah.
Are you talking about the first generation?
Yeah, not the second generation.
Yeah, first generation. Second generation.
Buy me because I'm special in the second generation.
Yeah, Mike. I mean, why? Do you have one that you need parts for, Mike?
No, I've thrown 4 of them in the trash can.
Oh, okay, yeah. Because I've got one out there that stopped pumping, and it just. I thought.
And Gene is saying that the Keurig is the way to go for us mold guys. They're actually Keurig took a hit a year or two ago because the story started circulating that because the water tank is sealed and because you cannot empty the water tank, that it builds up mold inside the tank, and you can't get it out. So that's when they started talking about the procedure for cleaning it out by running vinegar through it or something.
Yeah, I did that several times.
I haven't done these new ones. The new ones are less than a year old, so I figure they'll die before I have to clean them. How long do you guys, when you buy something new, how long do you hold on to the box before you throw it out? And I'm not talking about the shipping carton. I'm talking about the packaging box.
Until the warranty expires.
Yeah.
I have up in the attic, I have a shelf up in the attic, like 5-tier shelf with boxes, and I write the date, put the receipt in the box and write I know it's crazy, but I write the date that the warranty expires on it, because I figure if I'm going to send it back, I have the box.
Not only that, but you need to attach the receipt to the box.
Yeah.
Well, I save the receipts in another place, and almost every place I go, I get electronic receipts, because if you're doing business with a place like Bed Bath & Beyond, Best Buy, those places, you need to be on their company card programs. And I don't mean credit card. I just mean purchasing club or whatever it is. And because they really do a good job of tracking things. And yes, they pelt you with emails all the time, but A, you can turn it off, and B, you can use a different email address so you don't have to look at it unless you want to.
I always make a copy of the electronic printed store receipt, if that's the way I bought it at a store, because invariably the thermal paper will fade. And especially with auto parts that have lifetime warranties, I make a copy of it so that the copy doesn't fade, because the paper will fade.
Yeah. Now let me ask you, come back to that in a second. I'm going to ask you this, but then I'll go back to my other comment. Why do you need a receipt for a product with a lifetime warranty?
It depends on what I had this happen where the auto parts store I was buying from had their database updated and did not have links to anything older than a certain date.
What difference does it make if it's a lifetime warranty? If it's
I agree.
Broken, it's broken.
I agree.
Well,
they don't know. You can walk in with it, and how do you know they bought it there?
And how do you know you're the original owner?
Yeah.
I mean, we all pass alternators around, right?
Yeah.
Right. So no, I'm just giving my opinion, but if you do business,
Mike, you mentioned the alternator black market. Now the word is out.
I'm sorry. So I mean this sincerely in a positive way. If you buy anything at all from Home Depot or not Best Buy or Lowe's, if you don't have them scan your personal card each time you buy something, you're making a mistake, because they hang on to all the receipts. They will email you a copy of the receipt. For example, when I buy something from Home Depot, they have my debit card, my credit cards, and all that entered in there. All I have to do is walk in and pay. It automatically recognizes the card number. It asks me whether I want email, print, or both. I always do both. When I get home, the system has emailed me my purchase receipt, and that account also goes to a Gmail account. And so I have every emailed receipt going back to as far as they've done it, or even as far as 2008. We're approaching 10 years of receipts. Every receipt will be right there in that email account. And since it's Gmail, it's trivial to search for it.
What are your thoughts on rewards programs at stores?
Well, they're fine as long as, Best Buy has one, and they'll send you a $5 certificate every now and then.
Oh, really? So I should sign up for that?
Yeah, I believe you should sign up for all those. I don't know that I'd use my regular email account. I'd get a second one for it because you let them send you stuff. And if you buy a bunch from them, like we tend to from Home Depot or Lowe's, then those emails sometimes contain some really good deals.
Yeah, I'm not typically somebody that shops at big box stores, but now that my shipping stuff's a little weird, it's more convenient to buy it at a store than to
just remember that Best Buy will do a price match with Amazon.
Oh yeah, they do, and everybody will price match everybody, but it's just it's more convenient.
No, Walmart won't.
Yes, they do.
Nah, then they've just started it.
I had them price match something just last week or the week before in cartridge.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, I do the Lowe's, my Lowe's, and I have the Home Depot receipts. It's great.
You can look it up on your phone.
Yep, I have both apps, and I can go up and for me, because I always produce receipts for my billing, and sometimes if I mostly scan them, but sometimes I'll go and just pull them off the webpage and stick them right in as a PDF.
All right, let's switch. 2 months ago, Verizon implemented a change to all of its unlimited data plans that placed limits on the quality at which users could stream video. The company split its unlimited plan into 2 tiers, with the cheaper option restricting video streaming to 480p resolution. A higher price, $85, beyond unlimited plan, tops out at 720p on phones and 1080 on tablets. The new restrictions immediately applied to all plans, and Verizon customers had no way of opting out if they wanted to watch 1080p video on their phone or even higher resolution on capable devices using mobile data. But now, Verizon will give subscribers a way to completely remove the video quality handcuffs for an extra $10 a month. If you're willing to pay,
well, hang on. I hate defending Verizon, but you know what? You should pay for what you use.
That's fine. The reason I'm laughing is because they had unlimited. They did away with unlimited. After a few months, I'm talking about 2 years ago, because we had unlimited. We didn't use hardly any, but we had unlimited because that's what it was. And then they said, okay, if you pay $20 a month, you get unlimited. Then they cut it down to and throttled it down. Now they're bringing it up. Now they want more money to get it. I mean, it's just the way that the system is adapting and adjusting itself to make more money. It's amazing.
Imagine that.
You can stream video at a maximum quality supported by any device you've got connected to Verizon, whether it's 1080p, 1440, or even 4K. But keep in mind that the extra fee is applied per line for anyone on a family plan who wants to lift the limits. Even on a single line plan, it adds up, tacking $10 onto Verizon's Beyond Unlimited ratchets up the monthly price to $95. The $10 add-on will be available beginning November 3rd.
They've got you. They've got you. What's the
they got
problem?
you. Absolutely. Absolutely, they got you.
The thing that is weird to me is, and I would challenge everybody to try this, load a 480p YouTube video on your phone. It looks fantastic.
Yeah.
Because the phone screen is so small. Just
Right.
give that a try. You'll be very surprised. And I don't know why in the hell you'd want to stream 4K video to your phone.
I don't know.
I mean, it just sounds like the stupidest thing I've ever heard.
Yep, that's true. It is stupid.
So I was down in Wilmington yesterday. The radio station that Nick works for is streaming, is broadcasting from the county fair. And there's no Wi-Fi, no internet. So Nick was using his phone for a hotspot, which he was telling me, I thought that was blocked and you had to pay extra. He said, no. How long ago was that taken? That restriction removed, Nick?
3, 4, 5 years ago, maybe.
And I guess that they want you to burn up the data now.
Well, I think what they used to do is, I think it started with, if I remember correctly, I think it started with Verizon. They were the first one because originally it was completely unlocked. You could tether with the limited data. You could literally tether to anything and be fine. And then I think it was Verizon, maybe it was AT&T that first introduced it was pay like an extra $10 a month for tether access. It didn't give you any more data. It just gave you access to turn that on or off. And then I think everybody adapted it. And then one company said, yeah, this is stupid. And then they took it. And then, I mean, it's the same thing with unlimited data now. One company does it. Everybody follows. The next company does it. Or somebody changes how they do it. And everybody, jumps off the bandwagon. Very, very stupid.
So how did it go?
No, I'm fine.
Good.
I used it quite a bit when I was in Alaska. And I also used my phone exclusively for all internet access, watching videos. And I don't think I ever hit the any limitations. I didn't use my laptop much for video, but I used it for all my other access that I needed. And I had great access. I mean, they have very up-to-date G4, 4G, I should say. LTE up there.
There is no way.
Mike,
go ahead.
Mike, I actually got a text last night, not long after you left, from AT&T saying I was at 60% of my data for the month.
There you go.
Which is fine. The month ends in 3 days, but
oh, that's good.
And to be honest with you, it doesn't. You and Amnon have always asked me, how do you're on your phone all the time? The stuff really doesn't use that much data, and that's like scrolling through. How much data does Twitter use? Like I don't really know.
I get that, but
now it's double.
But for example, we had a listener whenever we first set up Chad's thing, burned up 5 gig in 1 month listening to his show, listening to his stream.
Oh, I must have been listening constantly.
Well, she was.
There
was
is
just audio.
Let me ask you something. I don't know if anybody knows. There is no way to plug any setup kind of to plug a bigger screen into a cell phone.
Well, that's not necessarily true.
Is there?
What would you do? Bluetooth it to an external monitor?
I don't know.
You can airdrop it to an external monitor.
What are you looking at, Nick?
What?
What are you looking at?
Editing audio.
Okay.
You can airdrop it.
What is AirDrop?
It's Apple's I don't know what they call it. They're like, Spence, can you describe?
It's
I don't know
like
how to describe AirDrop.
it's the reverse of
device to device sharing.
There you go. So like you can airdrop your phone to your Apple TV, I believe.
I did do something. What am not? We're interrupting you. Go ahead.
No. I'm saying it's the reverse of casting it from your phone. Like if
it's actually very similar to casting it from your phone.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. It depends on where do you cast it to.
Yeah, but I was thinking more like you have a monitor and then you just have a wire and you plug it into the bottom of the phone.
No.
And
it's a file transfer protocol. It is not a sharing protocol.
Yeah, I know.
So I took a video of a guy landing a bush plane, and he saw me doing it. He says, "Oh, I'd really like to get that video." So we both had iPhones, so I just airdropped to him. We stood next to each other. I said, "Airdrop." He said he saw it come up to say available, and he downloaded the file.
It's actually pretty cool. I've never used it, but from what I've heard, it actually works quite well.
It does.
Well, that's what we need to do, Nick. Next week, you need to come on the show and tell us a couple of really neat things on our phones that we've never used.
Oh boy, there goes your monthly cap.
Well, he's got no. He's got plenty of time on his hands this week.
Yeah, I don't do anything all day.
So here's something else very interesting. A whopping 42% of children ages 0 to 8 have their own tablet device, up from less than 1% in 2011, according to Common Sense Media newest national media use by kids census. Families with young children are now more likely to have a subscription video service such as Netflix or Hulu, it's sitting at 72%, than they are to have cable TV, which is at 65%. 10% of kids age 8 or under own a smart toy that connects to the internet, and 9% have a voice-activated virtual assistant device available to them in the home, such as Amazon Echo or Google Home. So the kids today are growing. I mean, I don't know how it is today, and I don't know if parents get involved with limiting. I mean, you know, when you have a 5-year-old or 6-year-old, and I'm not thinking that the 5 or 6-year-olds are going to go to a porn site, but because of the way that things are being pushed on the internet, it may pop up on their screen. So I don't know if there are, like we used to have Net Nanny. I remember using Net Nanny when Hannah was 7, 8 years old. And it worked great. I don't know if parents today are doing that.
I think a lot of them are off in outer space and don't even realize it. This is rewiring brains. I don't really understand the impact of what it's going to mean yet, but
it's not necessarily a bad thing.
No, I'm not saying it's a bad thing because we don't know.
Right.
But hold on a second. You make the same argument about me. I mean, I grew up with the internet.
And look at you.
Well, I know, Jesus. But
Nick.
I mean, you don't even know how to put your hat on forward.
That's true. But I mean, you could make the exact same argument about people my age. That, for example, when I hear about these concepts of not having data readily available and not being able to, mailing things back, it's things that I can't comprehend.
Well, it's possible that this could open up vast new creativity that's never been there before, or it could turn out to be a stifling thing that creates enormous anxiety. So we don't really know. And that's why I don't think there's enough people studying it yet.
Well, I mean, let me ask you something. If you let your 3-year-old, you buy them a wrench, and you let them play with the wrench. Of course they're going to play with it because, it's something they can play with. That doesn't mean that they're going to grow up to be a plumber. Does it?
No, but you're not talking about a cultural thing. You're talking about an eyeball looking at a screen.
Yeah.
Learning
right.
How to manipulate the screen, how that's so different at such a young age. That's going to wire your brain differently. It's going to change the way it can happen to anyone, but you're starting with children who are still so vulnerable to or impressionable that it's going to change. You don't know what it's going to do. It could wind up all of them having eye problems when they get older. It could wind up having a certain part of your brain that gets overdeveloped. Yeah. You don't know.
True.
And it happens. So it's not a thing that's changed over hundreds of years. So we adapt to it. It's something that happened in 2007. And suddenly we have this new input. That's what I mean.
Yeah.
I'm trying to be. I want to be cautiously optimistic and say it's not going to be a big deal, but already it's become a problem for some parents who just, you see them, go to a food court at the mall, and every little kid that could be potentially bothering the parent is sitting there with the phone, 1, 2 years old, watching the phone.
Yeah, but those are crappy parents. I mean, that's
yeah.
But I mean, but who's? I mean, what was the alternative to that 20 or 30 years ago? It was the television, right? Yep. You didn't want to deal with your stupid kids. You just make them watch television all day. I mean, it's like when my father was growing up, I'm sure that was the technique.
And look what happened.
Well, yeah, exactly. Yeah, now I'm here.
Not just you, your whole generation. We're all bad parents. We screwed up royally somewhere.
Well, somebody did, because look at these people I know. Holy moly.
Well, now just with tablets, it lets you take the television and carry it with you everywhere you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it always affects how you behave later on in life. Take a look at Mike. Mike grew up with radio.
I did.
And now he's still in radio.
Yeah, I know.
I have to drive down there to get RF out of the audio.
Mike, did you go to the fair down there and had something fried?
I did.
Yes, you did.
What'd you have?
A foot-long corn dog. Fried right there in front of me. They dipped it and everything right in front of me.
I mean, Mike, you have an Echo. Spence, you have an Echo. Nick, you have. We all have Echoes, right?
Yes, sir.
What's the next thing on Echo? The function. Video, voice to video calling. Anybody tried that? Alexa,
yes, I've used it before.
Huh?
Who'd you call with it, Nick?
I called my parents' Alexa.
And
how do you set that up?
It's in the app. It's
on the phone.
Yep. Yeah, you have to install the app on the phone. Finishing the story. I'm not.
No, I don't want to get into the nitty gritty of the story. I mean, this is what's interesting about voice to video calling. It's a way that Alexa can reduce the need to have your smartphone on you at all times. And he says if you have not played with calling and the video calls on Echo Show, you should try it because that is revolutionizing how you can communicate. Who was telling me that when they installed it, it wanted to already to connect? Yeah.
Because so I think it.
What?
When
you installed it in what?
So when I got my Echo here, I set it up as a new device, obviously, to my current Amazon account, which has my phone number tied to it. So when I set up my Echo, it showed a contact list. It included the Echo that I got my parents that is up in New York, Brian Aldridge, whose Amazon account is linked to his phone number. I want to say you showed up, Mike. No, I don't know you. I don't think you did. I don't think you had one yet. And like a couple of other people that I just had on my contacts list that I didn't really talk to. And then I went and turned it off, but I did try it. So it's if you open up the Amazon Alexa app and you navigate to the proper device. Let's see here. It's under.
I just opened the app and it opened to a page called Conversations. It says now you can call and message your friends. Now you can communicate with friends and family. Try saying, Alexa, make a call. Alexa, play my messages. Alexa, send a message.
Yeah, so I have mine turned off, but essentially I believe it's called drop in is the setting. So if you go to settings, click on the device, and then it's called drop in, and I have that off so that people can't call my device. But I did try it first, and it's like a SIP audio call between two devices.
But how do you do video to video?
Well, you have to have the device that has video. I mean, it's no different than using
Okay.
You're not going to be able to do video on the one that doesn't have a screen.
So will this thing make a phone call? Pot's phone call?
I believe it'll make a phone call. I think so. But I haven't really played with it at all.
So I'm sitting here looking. I looked at the contacts.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
This is the old way to do connectivity, even out to old POTS lines, was just to have the central SIP entity call one line, call another line, and conference them together. That way you didn't have to have the SIP endpoints. So will this do the same thing, or does it rely on the IP calling capability of the phone now?
Couldn't tell you.
Because if it's a drop-in, it could access that. You might say, when you install it, it might say, will you allow access to advanced calling? And if you say yes, it will do a SIP call.
Okay, so drop-in is Alexa's intercom system, and that's listed in the app.
Correct.
Oh, okay, so it's not a. Well, it still could be.
But it will. But you can do phone calls with it, from what I've been told. I just have not set that up.
Yeah, I think they rolled it in the States where you can make phone calls, but
yeah,
this is just
so now,
calling.
But you're not initiating the call by saying you're using your Echo device to initiate the call. You're
correct.
not talking.
It's not using your cell phone.
Yeah, because otherwise you're competing with Siri, which would be something Apple probably wouldn't allow.
Alexa, make a call. Call your friends and family's phone numbers except 911 in the U.S., Canada, and Mexico for free. Alexa calling uses your verified mobile phone number as your caller ID.
Oh, it's spoofing. Look at that.
In here, in the article, it says the Amazon added the ability to call mobile numbers and landlines for free onto Echo devices a few weeks ago.
Alexa, call 919-518-97.
I'm calling your cell phone right now.
I'm not in front of it. Well, there we go. Hi, Nick. You sound like crap.
So, how did you initiate it?
I couldn't even hear everything you just said. So Nick is going to go over. I can hear you now. Now you sound like a podcaster.
But it worked.
All right. Well, we're going to hang up now because everybody else can't hear us.
So it'd be interesting to find out if you can fork the call coming in to Alexa.
Okay, hello. I hung up.
Nick, can you fork the call coming in?
Beg your pardon.
I don't know how it works. No, I think it's outgoing calls only.
Hey, Mike.
I just asked it to call Mike Phillips Mobile, and I don't know how it got your contact information, but.
So, Mike, where's your Echo?
Downstairs in the kitchen.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm not. I called his cell. Now, did it pop up as my contact?
No, it popped up as you, as if you were calling on your cell phone.
That's interesting. That's a little creepy.
Yeah, it's spoofing. It's taken. It says it uses your number for caller ID, which is.
But it's verified number. I mean,
I don't know how I feel about that.
That leads. I have a question, just as an annoyance. What are they going to do about all of these spoofed, fake solicitor calls?
Nothing.
Yeah, I have no freaking idea. It's getting really bad.
Driving me. Now I just ignore it because I haven't been answering them for so long. If I don't recognize the number, I don't answer.
I don't answer phone unless
it'll come in 4 or 5 a day, same mobile exchange, and then different numbers.
Well, what they're doing now on my cell phone is they're calling from my own exchange, which is 412.
Yeah.
If it's from 412 and it's not in my contacts, I don't answer it.
Yep. Same with me.
Yep.
I'm getting them from. I get them from California. I get them from Alaska. I get them from different counties in North Carolina.
Yeah.
Well, unfortunately, these guys are changing the way telephones are working in this country, because I called a buddy of mine, a lawyer over in Winston-Salem, who helps me with a couple of things, and I called his cell phone. I'd never called his cell phone before, but I called his cell phone. He wasn't there, so I got his voicemail, and it was kind of interesting. And his voicemail, I mean, he's really a good guy, but his voicemail doesn't make him sound that way. He said, "You've reached my cell phone. If you have a business matter to talk with me, please contact me during the week on my office number at 336 whatever." After that, he said, if you're expecting me to answer the phone, he said, either I'm away from my phone. He said, if it's over the weekend, I don't carry my phone with me all the time. And moreover, he says, I may, he says, if I don't recognize your number, it's possible that I just didn't answer your call. If you've gotten this far and you still really need to talk with me, you can leave a message. And if it's a legitimate message, then I will return your phone call. And you say, wow, that's a little over the top. But isn't that what it's getting to?
Charles, it's supposedly totally free, but it uses your phone number to ID itself to the system or to the other side. I don't know. I mean,
still free.
Yeah, it is free.
There is a term for it. It's called neighbor spoofing.
Which means, I think they ought to make it a felony.
Everybody's
should.
Subject to it.
And Alfredo was asking, how does he order the HP computer from the specials? Alfredo, if you're still listening, it's in one of the 3 stores. You can always go to computers2know.com/specials.pdf and see it again. And see which store had it, and you just go to it's either Staples, Office Depot, or Best Buy. He was asking this in the Skype chat of Computers 2K Voice.
Just remember that Google and Amazon, Jeff Bezos is listening to every word you're saying.
Well,
saving a recorded copy of it.
There is an interesting story about this. I know we're over time.
You started late.
It what?
You started late.
Yeah. It says whenever you give iPhone apps permission to access your camera, the app can surreptitiously take pictures and videos of you as long as the app is in the foreground, a security researcher warned Wednesday. This is not a bug, but keep it in mind when a random app asks you for permission to access your camera. What this means is that even if you don't see the camera open in the form of an on-screen viewfinder, an app can still take photos and videos. It is unknown how many apps currently do this, but Kraus created a test app as a proof of concept. This behavior is what enables certain spy apps like StealthCam and EasyCalc Camera Eye to exist. But even if this behavior is well known among iOS developers and hardcore users, it is worth remembering that all apps that have camera permissions can technically take photos in this way. So you don't see anything blinking, you don't know that it's doing it. So I think we're getting to the point where we're going to have to put a sticker on the lens of the camera.
Just wrap it in tinfoil.
Yeah. Leave it at home or leave it in the car. All right. What else? Anybody else says anything?
Nah, we got save. If we talk everything this week, we won't have anything next week.
All right. So thanks, guys. This was great. Mike, Spence, Nick. I wonder what happens to the guys on the other side of the pond. Didn't hear anything. But anyway. Good morning, Kathy, Hannah, Nabil, Mac, Norm, Katie, and Donna. Thanks, everybody, for tuning to Computers 2K Now. We hope you learned. Maybe you learned something from our time together. Remember to practice safe computing, update your virus scanner, and back up your hard drive. We'll be back here next Sunday at 9, but you can always reach us at computers2know.com. While you're at it, like us on Facebook and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Tonight at 7, Nick is hosting his show against the norm on Wilmington's Big Talker 106.7. And you can listen on TuneIn. Bye, everybody.
You are tuned to the Nissan Communications Network. If you tuned in too late, you can always watch each program in its entirety or download an MP3 audio file of it in the archives section at nissancommunications.com. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow us on Twitter, and like us on Facebook. Sponsored by Telestream's Wirecast software, StreamingGear.com, Carolina Apparel, and DeltaForce.net.